they're on my mind. We're one tribe, we share our memories clear and bright. We walk as one, our lines are bound together. We share fate, we share one fate. We share fate.
Voices calling under one. A glorious vision, what may come. Now let our exes sing an anthem, the glory of our dwarfs. Protector of the freelance, we redeem our mission. We're brothers one by one. Divides the valiant sons. By brackers, it's our destiny. We are the chosen. We are the children. We are forged in fire and made of stone. We are the guardians of the realm from the beginning till the end. We will praise the divine who will last till eternity. Forged in fire, we were born.
We're made of stone by our Father's hand, gave life to us and more. Then from father to son, he made us dwarfs, the guardians of the land. Still we carry on, stand side by side.
We will defeat the fiercest enemy. We are the chosen. We are the children. We are forged in fire and made of stone. We are the guardians of the realm from the beginning till the end.
We will praise
Так, и да, всем здорово. Так, я первый раз запускаю, так что хрен значит. Так, предыдущий, следующий. Проход подключился. А тут разве можно кофе?
Ogres and all the other beasts of
Или ты про второго скорохода.
are the guardians of Girdlegard. We are the children of the divine smith. We are the dwarves.
We are the dwarves. YouTube может, да все они так говорят, просто все остальное в самом начале оно исчезает, а YouTube подключается уже во время запуска стрима. Я тоже так хочу. Так как прыжки выберите цели. Ох ты ж, мать, это точно хорошая идея этим с геймпада играть.
Not possible right now.
Ага. А, он сам их бьет, если все так, я понял. Так. Так, пустите меня туда.
Just a moment.
Так, я бы, пожалуй, отошел.
Glandeling, a present from the workshop.
Чё там? Гранаты. Окей.
I'd be happy to pass on this present to the greenskins. Unstated!
Даже не закончится босс.
My king! What are you doing here?
Giselbert I, the father of the Fifthling clan, has not been on the front line of battle against the creatures of Tion for many cycles. The king surveys the battlefield and the defenders with a grave expression.
We are too few.
This you know as well as he does. But there will be no reinforcements arriving. Hundreds of brave warriors lie inside the fortress dying. The illness is running rampant. It brings weakness and death.
Stay at your posts. Be as steadfast as the granite of which we are made. Nothing can break us. Vrakas is with us.
Спасибо, Пайперс. Спасибо.
Huh?
What?
Тут вот, у нас. Саворфовый двор. Саворфовый, да. Саворфовый двор. Там они допинают. Иди сюда. В смысле? Ты дурак? Кажется, он сдох. Так, подожди. А чё, так можно было? Упасть на стол. Это гениально было, да. Да я... Ты заколебал меня с моста падать. Умудрился игру сломать. Я не виноват. Какого хрена я берет и падает? Ну, пишите мне, пожалуйста. Так, все, великанов мы сняли. Кто из них опять сдох? Вы заколебали. Мужики на хорошем нравится, если. Понимаю, что сложность высокая, но это ничего не значит. Там что вообще делаешь? Решил вон там полежать, да? Сразу раздалось несколько патриксов, да вот походу. Так, ну вот, наконец-то мы отпинали. Так, давайте напинайте, куда пользуетесь. Минус катапульты, отлично.
These are the ones who attacked us in the tunnels. We suffered great losses beating them back.
Come here and I'll split you like a straw, you treacherous elf!
In his fury, the old king radiates a ferocious power that none of Citalia's children could withstand. But the slight, willowy being sitting astride the shadow mare just grins down, mockingly.
You are mistaken. We are Alpha. We are here to destroy the elves.
All peace-loving beings here in Girdlegard are under our protection, and you cannot open the gate that has barred your path into Girdlegard since the creation of the world.
Not us, but perhaps one of your kind.
This cannot be. Silence, you fool! Vrakas, forgive me for what I am about to do.
Quickly, in formation! You must hold them back until I close the gate!
Huh?
Так, ну пинай, не знаю, что тебе могу сказать-то. Повезли последнего. Просто я боюсь рывок юзать здесь, как бы я что скорее всего. Рывок сделаю, опять с моста где-нибудь выпаду. В смысле? Все, короче, игра пройдет.
Look at me. I am Synthoras, the reaper of your death. I will take your life, and the land will take your soul.
Get out of my sight, pointy ears, and let me delight at the closed gate a little longer.
The gate may have closed, but when you rise again from the dead by the power of the land, you will be one of us, and you will open it.
Never! My soul belongs to Vrakas.
No. Your soul now belongs to the land, and henceforth you will belong to it forever. Now die, and return. Then hand us Girdlegard.
You're a perfectionist, Tungdil Bolafar.
I've got a reputation to uphold. If you can't rely on the metalwork of a dwarf, what can you rely on?
Так. Не знаю, это читать надо, да? Просто выглядишь плохо спала.
You look dreadful.
А не, он сам как.
What a charmer.
The maid gives you an ironic, reprimanding scowl.
Ikana has been crying half the night.
When you were teething, I carried you around the vaults. You played with my beard and I sang you to sleep.
Frala smiles. She's heard this story many times before.
That was 23 cycles ago. But I'm quite sure you didn't sing. You might have grumbled a bit.
If what you've read about the dwarven lifespan is true, it will be another 300 sun cycles and more before you are called to the Eternal Forge. The certainty of one day having to witness Frala's death already burdens your heart.
What can I do for you?
For me, nothing. It's Lot Yonan. He wants to see you in his study.
In your mind, you go through all the recent incidents that might have annoyed the Magus. Apart from a few little squabbles with his famuli, nothing worth mentioning happened since the incident with your beard. You nod.
Okay. I'd better not keep the Magus waiting.
See you later. There's goulash for dinner.
There was a time when you could hardly lift the heavy hammer. Now you barely notice it anymore, and it feels like an extension of your arm. Smithing is in your blood. This is where you swung the forge hammer for the first time 30 cycles ago. No one taught you the craft. It was enough for you to watch Lot Yonan's old smith at work. Whenever the workshop was empty, you practiced and quickly mastered the craft with ease. There are apparently dwarves who have never seen the sky. And you too feel more comfortable when you have rock over your head. If only you didn't long to see more of the world, a longing that grows stronger with every year. Everything you know about dwarves you learnt from books. The divine smith created the dwarves, and from time to time you make him an offering of some crumbs of gold. It's the most valuable thing you have to offer Vracus. You've worked a bit more on Sunya's birthday present last night. The little one is crazy about horses. You, on the other hand, prefer to keep your distance unless you're fitting them with hooves. Too many legs and way too big.
Hey, groundling! Come to the kitchen, we need you.
Jolison, a 4th degree famulus and your favorite foe among the students of magic, gives you a disparaging glance and disappears without waiting for your reply.
Tangdale! Quick! Or the goulash will get burnt!
You immediately recognize what the problem is. A chain running over a pulley for positioning the cauldron is detached from its mounting, and the cauldron stuck in the fireplace. It's a heavy load, and none of the famuli, who feel superior even during kitchen duty, dare do anything. They might burn their fingers, or even get a bit dirty.
Так специально, что уж точно пришла. И уведомлений специально. Исключительно, как можно больше.
I am your godfather, little one. I'll look after you just like I looked after your mother.
Little Akana grasps your calloused finger and smiles at you wide-eyed.
Oh.
Vegetables, bread, cheese, but the cook is not to be trifled with. Many painful knuckles have taught you that she knows how to handle her heavy wooden spoon, and that she may possibly have eyes in the back of her head.
Ты сегодня поставил? Ты у кого Вайперса спрашиваешь? Не знаю, может Вайперс тоже поставил.
I just wanted...
The stew, quickly now.
Ах, мелко.
It'd be a waste of goulash. And I'm hungry. Here, hold this. Do you remember when you dyed my beard with some magic spell? I had to shave it off.
You stroke your beard, which is unusually short for a dwarf.
Damn it! Ah, it's heavy!
The young human forces through his pursed lips, letting the pot sink a little.
Don't you dare ruin my goulash, boy!
The cook, with beefy forearms, glares at the young man, and after a brief moment, he tries harder. With as much concern in your voice as you can muster, you say,
Oh, no, no, this doesn't look good.
You're pleased to notice he's dripping with sweat.
I'll get you back for this, groundling!
А я да, Крис, я постарел.
You damned freak!
For a moment, you hope the famulus really does raise his hand to you. But then he comes to his senses and leaves the kitchen, his face bright red.
What a pair you are!
Мне годиков 4 исполнилось. Теперь я большой. Я 4 годика.
The goulash is bubbling in the cauldron. You draw the warm air in through your nose, and the smell makes your mouth start watering.
44. 64.
Do you know what Logyonen wants?
The maid gives you an amused look. She has often accused you of making things more complicated than necessary.
Ох,
Ну и еще разочек. Чтобы было уважение, честь и пиво. С днем рождения. Ядрить, колотить. Чаат, сердечек. Отмечали рисумы 1000.
Спасибо, Николай. Здорово, да. Неожиданно. Я вообще строгнул. Да. Такую сумму закидаешь. И не жалко, и не стыдно. Да, знал, что у вас блядских эльфов нет чести, нет уважения, нет пива. Вот и бочки с пивом. От Ничалера, да, он читает именно так. Да, спасибо. Вот и пиво.
The beer that is delivered to the vaults is supposed to be the best beer in Idderslane. It's certainly your favorite beer, but you haven't drunk enough other beers to truly know.
Что-то мне эта игра прям нравится. Чалер. Так, куда мы дальше? Подожди. Стенку налили.
The blacksmith. Do you want something?
Did a horse bolt while you were trying to shoe it? It's certainly not on our plates.
Of the 200 or so people selected to learn the art of magic under Lot Yonan, there's barely a handful of them you can stand the sight of. You're not at all interested in magic in all its elusiveness and whimsy. Your realm is the forge.
Так, а чё? Удар кузнеца. Падать между лицом уже отбался к броне. Ага. Бухать кулер. Возможно. Почему бы и да. Баночку пражечки. Не знаю, я коньяка бахну. Это я решил поставить.
The maid gives you an amused look. She has often accused you of making things more complicated than necessary.
Делись по кругу. Пускай по кругу. Пивасик.
Lot Yonan's vaults are equipped with laboratories, a library, and private rooms for the famuli. Together with the forge, the kitchen, and the other utility rooms, it makes up quite an impressive complex. But compared to the courts of the other magi, the seat of power in Yonandar is small and modest.
Окей. Все, мыть больше. В смысле. Взял, все выпил, действительно.
I should speak to Lot Yonan first. He doesn't like to be kept waiting.
You mumble and wonder when you started speaking thoughts like this out loud.
Так, хорошо, покинуть нельзя. Если не понимаю, иконки снизу какие-то. А, во, кажется, в кабинете. А, вот. Еще и укоризничает. Ты ему скажи вредное. А, вот его копец. Всем укоризна.
Master Lot Yonan, Frala told me you wished to speak with me.
Ah, Tungdil, come in. There is a bag over there in the cupboard. Take it out, please. It contains artifacts belonging to my former famulus Goren. I wish to return them to him. He's in Black Saddle, 300 miles away.
300 miles? That's a long journey. Who are you going to entrust with this?
I was thinking of you.
Me?
There is no one better to take on this journey. You have acquired much knowledge. You are almost a scholar. You know more than most famuli about Girdlegard and its inhabitants. It is time for you to go out into the world and see it with your own eyes.
With pleasure. What's in the bag?
Magical devices. You better leave the bag closed if you want to avoid any accidents. Dwarves don't really like magic, and magic doesn't like you either.
Rakus gave us so much craftsmanship that there's no space left in our bodies for magic.
Strictly speaking, every time you've been too close to magic, it has ended in catastrophe.
Все работает. Не работает.
Perhaps I'll meet some dwarves on my travels.
Yes, perhaps. But don't hold out too much hope. And be careful who you talk to. Not everyone out there likes dwarves.
Yeah, goblins. They abduct baby dwarves and sell them to magi, from what I've heard.
Not the best bit of business I've ever done. But what was I to do? The Longnoses threatened to throw you into the nearest river.
Нормально.
Be on your guard. Look after the bag and don't lose it. May Palandiel be with you. And Varakas too, of course.
I'll set off immediately. I'll see you soon, Lot Yonan.
Да ладно, зачем кросс? Stop it. Just stop it. Чем вся игра не такая? Ну, спроси. Не, ну, в принципе, она почти такая же по графену. Камера немного другой угол камеры. Ничего не поделаешь. Тут боевка идет, поэтому для боев так и сделали. Тебе не Dragon Age. Все, посвалился.
You're about to dive headlong into your adventure, but then stop yourself.
A journey over 300 miles without provisions and a weapon. I shouldn't forget to think in all my excitement.
Действительно. И думаю, по идее же надо вещи собирать. С ней поговорим, где ты дашь.
Hello, Frala.
Подарок. Да. Стол аппетитный, да, конечно. Хотя в целом там продукты сыр. Там рыба, морковка, хлеб, мясо, по-моему. Тыква, сыр, лук, картофель. Ну, неплохо.
I need provisions for 300 miles.
You're grinning from ear to ear. Finally, you've got the chance to see something of the world.
300? Tungdil, that's no errand. That's an epic journey. Wait, I've got just the right thing. But make sure the cook doesn't see.
I'm going to Black Saddle to return a few things to a former apprentice in the Magus.
You pocket the rye bread, sausages, and ham. Enough food for the first few days of your journey.
Perhaps I'll even meet some dwarves on the way.
Frala throws you a cautious glance. It's a tricky subject that you can't help but broach.
They're aren't dwarves down here. You're the only one in Ida's Lane as far as we know.
I know, but I can't just have been born out of a rock. Somewhere in the mountains, I have a clan. Maybe even a family.
Yes. Maybe.
Frala has reminded you more than once that Lot Yonan wrote to the dwarf clans, and none of them were missing a dwarf boy.
Давай, Николя, спасибо, что заходил. Спасибо за донат с поздравлениями. Хороший стрим.
I've got a present for you.
You take out a symbol of protection that you've carefully made from 3 horseshoe nails.
It's not the finest jewelry in Girdlegard.
One look at Frala's face makes it clear that it doesn't matter. She glows with happiness as she takes the pendant.
For me? But why?
Because you don't see me as an oddity, and you're like a little sister to me.
You could have said. But you settle with a shrug and a crooked smile.
I have to go. I've got a long journey ahead of me.
В смысле, чего? Всем мой
I
голос
wish
не
you the
нравится.
blessing of
Господи.
Palandial and Vracus to protect you from all danger on your journey. Here, a talisman. Whenever you look at it, think of me.
Frala winks at you mischievously.
And of getting me a nice present.
Так, оружие вкусничает. Вкуснявый. Не знаю, какой есть. Это мой голос. Чего мне так-то? Так, ну кажется, топор взяли. Нужно сваливать. А, еды на 17 дней. Еще как. Еще и думать про еду надо.
How nice to see you again, Lot Yonan. It must have been an age since we last met face to face.
Nudin, welcome. Please, sit down.
No, thank you, my friend. These are urgent matters, and I don't have much time. You must come to Leos Nudin immediately. The perished land is stirring.
Are you sure? What makes you think that?
I found out about 60 orbits ago, during a visit to the borders. Our magical barriers have weakened and become porous. The Elfar have left their land, and a huge horde of orcs have marched into Girdlegard.
Were you able to strengthen the spell with your magic?
No. I can't repair the damage alone. We need the combined power of the 6. The other 4 are already on their way here, but we need your help too.
I will set off for Parista without delay.
Oh, and as you're coming, could you also take the opportunity to bring back the things that I lent to you?
Of course. I have them already packed in a bag.
Oh, thank you. We'll be expecting you.
Мутный какой, да. Я не знаю, тут, ну, типа, бывает иногда специально делают визуально героя похожего на злодея, в итоге он оказывается как раз таки хорош.
Utterly blinded by the sunlight, you squeeze your eyes tightly shut after only a few steps. The time spent underground has made you so sensitive to light that you're forced to seek shelter in the shade of a mighty oak.
Вы серьезно мне еще... Ох, да. Ходи еще, выбирай, куда идти. Понятно.
You reach a small lake by a birchwood. Your feet hurt and your eyes still sting in the unaccustomed sunlight. But a smile spreads across your face nonetheless. You've covered a decent distance on the first day of your big journey. You pitch your camp and lie down to sleep on the hard forest floor. When you awake in the morning, your legs are stiff and achy. Trying not to feel sorry for yourself, you throw your rucksack over your shoulder. You're a dwarf, and dwarves don't complain.
Так, пошли на знак вопроса.
Around midday, with the sun high in the sky and the first beads of sweat appearing on your forehead, you see something move next to the road, a few hundred meters ahead. Some crows are pecking at something in the long grass.
Ох, это прям куча выборов. Так, давайте думать. Подкрасться к ворону, ну по идее там труп с осады быть не должно теоретически.
The creaking leather armor, the clattering rucksack, and a dwarf's inability to be quiet makes the crows flap around as you move from one bush to another. You give up trying to be stealthy, stand up straight, and see two human bodies in the flattened grass.
Ну, я так понял, тут будет несколько персонажей в итоге в группе, и там надо будет, можно будет им всем управлять.
You don't see any signs of a struggle in the area where the corpses are lying. Were they stabbed by a companion? A stranger could hardly have crept up on them with such sparse cover. A slender man lies in front of you, dressed in an expensive robe. It is in the colors of Turgur the Fair-Faced, one of the 6 magi. The dead man must be one of Turgur's famuli. You don't see any wounds.
Надо всем копать. Вероятно, никогда. Вот там трупы всякие находят.
There are some narrow stab wounds in the man's chest. The cuts are too big to have been made by arrows, but too small for sword wounds.
Шпага. Допустим. Маленький колотый ран.
You look down on a tall, broadly built man. He's wearing dark brown leather armor that is strengthened with iron plates. There's a sword lying next to him. Was he trying to defend himself against something? Or someone? There is no blood on the sword.
Подозрительно.
The man has the same incisions. It's clear that both men were killed by the same weapon. But what that weapon might be, you cannot say.
Подумаешь ли было лутать трупы, ну?
A rucksack that probably belonged to one of the dead. It seems to have been searched and then thrown away carelessly.
Ай, в смысле? Да блин.
A rucksack that probably belonged to one of the... You find a few implements, some provisions, and a map. A route is drawn on it from Parista, Nudin's capital, to Lotjonen's vaults.
Does this mean that Turgur the Fair-Faced is in Parista and wanted to send Lotjonen a message? And if so, why didn't he use magic? Did he want to contact him without anyone noticing? Why all this secrecy?
Они перевели не все. Что он типа дальше сказал, что неужели он хотел передать сообщение типа секретно? Да неужели это настолько прям нуждается в приватности?
You scour the area once more and ask yourself what to do next.
Похороним тела, чё?
It's time-consuming and strenuous work digging shallow graves in the ground with a stick and covering the corpses with a few stones. But it should at least keep the crows from their feasting for a while. You continue on your way so as to put a few more miles between you and your grisly find before night falls. You see a flickering light through the trees some way from the path. It might come from a campfire.
А вот опасно, это разбойники. Если разбойники, я подойду, не скрывая себя, меня могут грохнуть. Если это обычные люди, я подкрадусь, могут испугаться. Тоже грохнуть. Ладно, что я боюсь?
You walk towards the fire with confident strides until you finally make out 3 broad-shouldered men with axes. 2 rabbits are sizzling over the fire. The men are joking with one another, but you can only understand the odd word. They haven't noticed you yet. Once you reach the edge of the firelight, you say amicably,
"Greetings. My name is..."
The men jump up and grab their axes.
Who's there?
Well, I'll be. Is that a groundling?
The men look you over suspiciously.
Да, путешественник, да.
My name is Tungdil. I'm only a traveler who would have nothing against a warm fire and some company.
Понятно. Ничего хорошего не
A
будет.
groundling wants our company.
Не любят нас тут.
We are honest, hard-working men. Why would we have anything to do with groundlings? Be off with you.
The man strengthens his grip on the axe and passes his tongue over his yellow teeth while keeping you in his sights.
Давайте их убьем.
Put down your weapons or I'll be forced to use mine.
You threatening us, groundling?
The next morning, visions of axes, faces full of hate, fists and heavy boots flicker through your befuddled mind. Your first attempt to move fails when pain shoots through every bone, every muscle and every nerve in your body. It's a long time before you manage to sit up and tend to your wounds in the early sunlight. There's no trace of the woodcutters. They must have thrown you into the undergrowth near the campfire once they were finished with you.
Ты гном, ядрить. Че, не мог?
You reach the banks of the Warder and can see Axeldale on the other side, but there isn't a bridge for far and wide. The fishermen's boats glide over the water, which sparkles in the sun. None of the men seem to notice you while they throw out their nets. You call to the nearest fisherman. He looks across at you briefly before turning away and getting back to his work. You're going to have to find another way of crossing the river. You look at the cold, dark water. The current seems so strong that they could carry off even the most experienced of swimmers, and you aren't even a mediocre one. You once read a legend in a book. Elria, the goddess of water, did not like the children of the forge and cursed the dwarves, so that they would drown in any waters beyond their kingdoms. The main reason that dwarves avoid water to this day. You leave the peaceful banks of the river behind you and continue on your way.
Okay. So
You look down on a large village on the banks of the Warder. Some of the village is built on stilts in the river. A wooden bridge spans the fast-flowing water. A huge wooden palisade has been erected to protect the village from attack.
Здорово такой. Королем. Не, я еще кузнец. Я иду что-то делать, не знаю даже что. Так.
Your eyes roam the land on the other side of the river. You estimate that you will soon have completed half of the journey to Blacksaddle, but you still can't make out the mountain on the horizon. The guards on the palisade are watching you. Their armor looks well cared for and well made. The smith who made them knew what he was doing. You conclude that the men depend on the protection the armor offers and aren't just wearing them to look good. They're certainly not villagers.
Так.
The double gate is made of strong planks, sturdy but still much less solid than the fixed parts of the palisade. Security has been forgone here for practical reasons. Never a good idea when building fortifications. Some of the guards begin to whisper as you near the gate.
Hello up there!
What brings you to fair good water? And have you seen any orcs on your travels, groundling?
The man leaning over the palisade eyes you up and down carefully.
Goodwater is well known for its hospitality.
A fact that you've just made up yourself.
Let me in, and I will tell other travellers all about it.
I regret to inform you that we cannot allow you to enter. The gates stayed closed once night has fallen.
There is certainly no regret showing in the man's face.
I'm a blacksmith. And a dwarf. Let me tell you, your gate might look solid, but it won't withstand a real orc assault.
The murmuring all around him makes the man pause for a moment. If anyone else had criticized the stronghold, they'd have been laughed down and shooed away. But no one understands defense systems like the dwarves.
A dwarf blacksmith who just happens to be standing in front of our gate?
That's right. I can see to it that orcs crack open their skulls on your gate, just like at home on the High Pass. Skulls that add up to hard cash for you.
You only know about the secondling stronghold from books, but you can see in the man's face you've pushed the right buttons.
All right then. You can spend the night in the village. You begin work tomorrow morning, and it had better work like you promised.
Of course. It's a trifle.
Действительно, таскли. Вот мы и попали.
After a meal, you spend the night in the comfort and shelter of a Goodwater tavern. The next morning, you feel fully refreshed. You strengthen the gate with cross braces of wood and iron, using your experience and skill. Now it should be able to withstand an attack for much longer. Mercenaries and villagers alike watch you work, clearly impressed. As you finish, a man approaches you.
Well done, dwarf. We were right to bring you into our village.
The village grew rich through bridge tolls, and this wealth must be defended.
Вознаграждение.
I've spent almost half an orbit strengthening the gate. How about a bit of compensation?
The council member's face darkens.
We've paid for food and lodgings, and because we're generous, we've also thrown in the bridge toll. Good day, Mr. Dwarf.
Ну и ладно. У вас так.
An uneasy feeling has been your constant companion since you left Goodwater. Every little sound in the forest makes you fear you've been discovered by a horde of orcs. But you reach the end of the day without bumping into any of the greenskins. It seems as though Vrakas has granted you one more day in Girdlegard. As night begins to fall, you pass a large oak tree and decide to call it a day. Near the oak tree is an abandoned camp with a fireplace, which appears to be a couple of days old.
Давай разобьем, спать не буду.
You take over the abandoned camp. Whoever slept here before clearly left again without any problem. You see that as a good omen, but don't want to rely on your luck and force yourself to stay awake. Some hours later, you jolt from an uneasy sleep, and terrified, you look around you. Relieved, you notice that the forest all around is just as calm as it was before. You promise yourself that this won't happen again, and look straight into the face of an orc who is holding a knife to your throat. Before you fully realize the hopelessness of your situation, you feel the blade cutting through your jugular. The last thing you see is a group of orcs baring their teeth coming towards you. Then everything turns black.
Ах вы щуки. Серьезно. А я думал, что прям вот так вот будет. Шелорк зарезал.
An uneasy feeling has been your... As night begins to fall,
Так, давай.
you swing yourself up the trunk and then pull up your baggage after you. You're prepared to sleep in a tree like a bird if it means escaping the orcs' attentions. You sling your rope twice around your stomach and the trunk of the tree to stop you from falling accidentally. You close your eyes and dream. You see North Pass and smell the fresh, icy wind that sweeps over the peaks of Great Blade and Dragon's Tongue. But the harmony is interrupted by the hideous roar of an unending flood of orcs throwing itself unceasingly against the fortification. You smell the disgusting green blood of the orcs and taste the rancid fat of their armor on your tongue. The bitter taste becomes stronger until it's unbearable and wrenches you out of your dream. You open your eyes and are surprised at the brightness as a glance at the sky confirms that it's still night. Your eyes move towards the ground, and what you see makes the blood in your veins freeze.
I am Synthras of Son Balsur. My master, Nod On the Doublefold, ruler of the perished land, has elected you, the lords of Taboribor, to be the sword that conquers the south.
You mean you want us to put our necks on the line and be killed by some magus?
Lord Yonan and the others will be taken care of. Your task is to create a diversion in the south until my master's plan succeeds.
And which of us is the leader?
The one that conquers the most land.
So Kragnar will be the new Grand Lord.
He glares at Ushnots and Bashkug.
The Kragnar short tribe will conquer the most land.
Never! We will overwhelm the cities of the Red Bloods quicker than you can suck the marrow from a bone.
We shall see.
Можно класс бросить?
What you're hearing. If the beasts of Tion ride into battle together, catastrophic cycles lie ahead for Girdlegard.
Я пока кузнец. На этом все.
The night in the oak tree was the worst of your life. You spent every single moment afraid that you would be found and savaged by the orcs. But as the first rays of sun broke through the treetops, the orcs abandoned their camp and left without discovering you.
Я себе спал. Можно понаблюдать.
Better safe than sorry.
Your eyes scan the deserted camp, and you listen carefully for any noise. But you don't see or hear anything suspicious.
Вот, слезай так-то.
You're overcome by the urge to vomit. You have, of course, heard the stories, but seeing with your own eyes that orcs actually do eat humans is a long way from just reading about it.
This is the place. I knew it was here. Come on then, find that stupid necklace. Hey, Fuskar, in front of you. A grounding, perfect for a spotted breakfast.
Ой-ой. Ну блин, что... Если я метну топор, предположительно, даже если убью и убегу, я останусь без топора. Логично?
You
Давай
know
драться
that
еще.
you're no warrior, but you want to face the orcs as a child of the divine smith. Perhaps you'll manage to kill at least one of them, so as not to appear so undwarven in Varacus's eyes.
I'll give you something to chew on. Varacus made us of stone.
Ой. Пришло время умирать.
Oink, oink, little piggies! By Barrowin's beard! How did you manage to lose your weapon? Go and get it, and this time, hold it tight! Hey! That one was mine! You're just too slow, dear brother! Too slow? Just wait! Yeah!
О, ты ж
I didn't hit you very hard! Huh? What is it? Yeah! What is it, huh? I have Boroda! Give me a hand! What is it?
They're hitting me pretty hard. Huh? Huh?
Yeah! I didn't hit you very hard! Yes? What is it?
Там.
I need help over here, quickly.
Что, вон идешь ты шашлык там.
What is it? It can't end like this.
Ой, в смысле сначала? Я же здесь сначала это отсюда, да?
А?
Это же а-ля РПГ, честно, я хз. Я первый раз запустил игру, поэтому я не в курсе.
Yes? Who's next?
Yes? And again.
What is it?
Huh?
Another one bites the dust.
Класс. Ох, мать, да в смысле? Мы же не отобьемся его вкусно.
What is it? And what now?
They're hitting me pretty hard.
Yeah! Boroda! Give me a hand!
Так, отойди от них. Скоростной, но отойди от него. Иначе сейчас подохнешь.
I didn't hit you very hard! He hardly put up a
Теперь ты отойди. Ай, я еще же подохнешь, ну. Говно, что ли? А ты попадать-то будешь мне.
What is it? Too easy. Pow! Another one bites
Надо бы этому помочь. Наверное.
Huh? Yes? What is it? Pow! Another one bites the dust. Yes?
Yes?
Yeah! What is it?
They're hitting me pretty hard.
Yeah! Too easy. Yes?
Отходим.
Others will take my place.
Блин, я же... Я еще забываю, здесь же Friendly Fire работает. Если ты атакуешь силовой атакой зону действия другого героя, ты его бьешь. Это просто пипец какой-то.
I need help over here, quickly.
And what now? Who's next?
I need help over here, quickly.
Yeah!
They're hitting me pretty hard.
What is it?
Там хотя бы реген какой-то идет.
end like this.
Да ты... Хватит лезть под топор, ну.
Yes?
Didn't hit you very hard.
Vile creature. Huh? I need help over here, quickly. What is it? Yes? They're hitting me pretty hard. Kill. I need help over here, quickly.
Так, тихо, отойди.
They're hitting me pretty hard. What is it? I need help over here, quickly.
Понял.
Yes? Ow! Hey!
Yes?
What is it? I am Boroda. Give me a hand.
Huh?
Yeah!
Huh? I need help over here, quickly. Huh?
Huh?
What is it? Yes? They're hitting me pretty hard.
Yeah!
He hardly put up a fight.
What is it? And what now? Who's next?
Так, вот зараз все трое выжили.
Yeah! Yes?
They're hitting me pretty hard.
What is it?
Huh? They're hitting me pretty hard.
And what now? I didn't hit you very hard.
Huh?
Yeah! What is it? Too easy.
I need help over here, quickly. They're hitting me pretty hard. And again.
Он огонь по своим.
Hey!
Huh?
Who's next? Oink oink. That's all? No more orcs? Well fought, young friend. Do you happen to be tongued ill? Well fought? But he fought like a... Boindale, what do you expect? He grew up amongst the humans.
Who are you and how do you know my name?
My name is Boindale Hookhand of the clan of the Swinging Axes. This is my brother Boindale Doubleblade. We've been sent to find you. Call me Ironheart. Are there any more piggy snouts around here?
You turned up at just the right moment. But are you sure it's me you're looking for?
The High King Gundrabur sent us to fetch you and bring you to Ogre's death in the Secondling realm in the south.
So he received the letter from my master? And am I a secondling?
Well, something like that, I guess.
Then my family was found and the High King wants to bring me back to my clan.
No, you're not a secondling. You're a fourthling. And you're to... The High King will tell you all about that once we get to Ogre's death. We should get going.
There was a meeting last night. The Elfar serve a certain Nod-On who calls himself Lord of the Perish Land. They have enlisted 3 Orc hordes to cause unrest in the south.
Did you hear that, Boindale? Peggy snouts! The Elfar from Son Balzur and the Orcs from Taboribor are working together?
And could ally with the Orcs from the Perish Land.
The twins look at you solemnly. You all know what that would mean for the people of Girdlegard.
We've got to...
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say. But it's our duty to get you to the Ogre's Death Fortress in one piece.
I thought the duty of dwarves was to protect the innocent in Girdlegard.
Lot Yonan and King Broron will take care of the orcs. We 3 must be careful. You're not exactly a warrior. But he has broad shoulders and broad hands. There's hope for him yet. So when you've got the chance to split a few orc skulls, you should take it.
I would be happy to follow you into the realm of the Secondlings. In truth, there is nothing I would rather do. But first, I must travel to Blacksaddle and return some things to a former famulus of Lot-Yonan.
Blacksaddle isn't exactly on our way.
It's on my way. We can head south as soon as I've carried out Lot-Yonan's orders.
Well, he's certainly got the stubbornness of a dwarf. Perhaps we'll be able to make a real dwarf of him on the way.
All right, we'll accompany you. The sooner we find that famulus, the quicker we can get back to the mountains.
I'll have to send Lot-Yonan a message by carrier pigeon on the way. And if we happen to stumble upon a couple of orcs...
I like you, but we'll have to find you another name. Bolafar. It's about as good as Lipsmith, Paddletosh, or Blufflegrump. It is stupid, senseless, and definitely not a name of honor. What are you good at?
I'm good at reading.
Reading? You're a scholar?
О, опыт. Левел 2. О, да. Ага, тут вон, другой, если ты еще тут, по сути, выбираешь просто способности себе. Удар на стороне своей бросает их в сторону. Бывает с ног. Волю командира я бы, конечно, потом взял. Просто, блин, широкие удары это хорошо, но ты будешь бить своих же. Вчерашний класс сопартийцев, не знаю. Это тоже честно, не знаю. Возможно. Но пока ведь выбираешь способности после раскачки. Сопартийцы, не знаю, меняться будут. Или их сюжетом менять будут, либо ты сам меняешь. Хотя... Нашли... О, ничего себе, провизия. 30 штук, ни хрена себе. Эликсир защиты, талисман защиты. Торпеды. Торпеды. А, как это может? Напяливать на кого-то. Находится под контролем, да. Не теряет больше... А, тут, я думаю, долго живет. Больше 5% не теряет. Отношение 45-10. Понятно. Так, ну чё, нам что да? Что это за девятка? А, или это типа отряды другие, да, с которыми, возможно, я столкнусь.
There are dead orcs lying in the defensive trenches and strewn over the meadows in front of the city. Some of the locals are busy throwing the bodies on pyres, while others repair the minor damage done to the city wall. You enter the city and the garrison at its centre without being spoken to. It is only when you reach a heavy oak door that leads, you assume, to the commanding officer's headquarters, that you are halted by a guard.
Dwarves, eh? Seems we aren't to be spared anything these days. What do you want?
It looks like you've got an orc problem.
Had. Our scouts detected the army early on, and we were able to repel them without any great losses. A small army of orcs like that couldn't breach our mighty walls.
Your mighty walls look like they're about to collapse under their own weight!
The soldier isn't intimidated by Boindil. He juts his chin out confidently.
At least they stopped the orcs, unlike your dwarven walls in the north.
I didn't know that Steepleton was so big. Impressive place.
We have fertile meadows. That's what we have to thank for the city's growth in recent years. At the time of my grandparents, Steepleton was nothing more than the tower on a hill with a couple of houses. Now we have a market, a temple, and of course, there are royal messengers stationed in the tower, which doesn't do the city's coffers any harm at all.
You said you had messengers here. I'd like to send a carrier pigeon to Lot Yonan in Yonandar.
Lot Yonan in Yonandar. No problem. It will cost you 90 gold pieces.
If the carrier pigeon delivers my message safely to Lot Yonan, then it's worth its weight in gold.
Then I'll send for a scribe. You can dictate your message and
thank you, but I can write it myself. Paper and ink will be sufficient.
The guard nods. You don't blame him for thinking you are illiterate. Very few ordinary folk can read or write. Once you've been given the writing implements, you write down a summary of what happened at the meeting of the Alf and the Orcs.
I must speak with your commander.
Commander Valor doesn't have time. He's still very busy dealing with the aftermath of the Orc attack.
Також легко отбився.
Commander Valor is dealing with the Orc problem, and I have important information concerning it. I witnessed a meeting of the Orc Lords.
The guard eyes you with interest and tries to judge whether you can be trusted. Finally, he stands up, opens a door, and enters the room ahead of you. The commander looks up from his work. The guard repeats what you told him.
Your information about the Orcs could be useful. We have fought them back, but not yet defeated them. Come in.
The commander listens attentively, and now and then asks questions as you tell him about the 3 Orc armies and the meeting of the chieftains with the Alf Sintharas.
This sounds very grave. I will send out messengers. We must be prepared.
The Orc army that attacked you was able to escape?
What was left of it? They headed south. Unfortunately, I can't send anyone after them until the damage to the wall is repaired.
The commander looks at you with a disgruntled expression. It suddenly seems clear to him who he has standing in front of him.
If you're interested, you could try and wipe out the mob that got away and collect the bounty.
Killing pig noses and getting paid for it? Where's the heads?
You grin at Boindil, and then turn back to the commander.
We'll see what we can do. We must press on. Farewell, Commander Valor.
Kill as many orcs as you can, dwarves. Palandir will be with you.
You see a camp with a wagon and 2 people on the edge of the path. Behind them, Black Saddle towers up above a thick, dark forest, about a half a day's journey away. You don't want to give them a shock, so you address them while you're still a distance away.
Hello, friends. Is there any space by your fire?
The 2 traders look up and visibly jump when they see you 3 dwarves.
Ah, hello. Yes, of course.
It doesn't escape your attention that you seem to be causing the traders some uneasiness, but you take up their offer and sit down. The twins follow your example.
We're only travelers. We're looking for someone who's said to live on Black Saddle. A hermit.
Someone who lives here?
The traders exchange amazed looks.
If they live here, they must be mad.
Normally we wouldn't stop and rest here, but the horses are too exhausted. Our departure from Parista was delayed and we must have driven them too hard.
Why does Black Saddle make you feel uneasy? It doesn't look particularly inviting, but it's only a mountain.
Only a mountain?
You don't know the legend?
The trader looks at you and the twins for affirmation, but you all shake your heads.
Blacksaddle was once known as Cloudpiercer, and it towered up into the heavens, the upper slopes of pure gold and the summit covered in snow. The humans wanted to attain this wealth, but the smooth slopes and the dazzling summit made the climb impossible. They called on the dwarves to help them. They were able to tunnel up through Cloudpiercer to the top. They hollowed it out and carried away the gold. The humans demanded that the treasure be shared, but the dwarves refused, and as they argued, the mountain began to tremble. There were too many holes inside for it to hold together. It collapsed and buried both greedy parties underneath it. The mountain lost its tremendous size and its beauty, and ever since has haunted both humans and dwarves with its erosive hatred, causing even the rocks to turn black over time.
Pfft. Never heard of it. Sounds like human tittle-tattle. Dwarves would never hollow out a mountain so much that it collapses.
You come from Porista. How are things there?
No news to speak of, I'd say. Well, except for Nudin the Knowledge Lusty.
You know Nudin the Knowledge Lusty. Lot Yonan introduced him to you many years ago during a visit.
What about him?
Oh, nothing really. Just rumors.
You nod at the trader to continue.
He's behaving strangely and disappears into his tower for days on end.
And he looks ill, apparently. Well, that's what someone I know said. Perhaps he got a spell wrong.
Так, что у вас есть? Провизия. Ну, провизия, в принципе, тоже есть. Удача. Ага, надо, кстати, на 10 раз это удачу приносит. Сыр силы.
Later in the night, after eating together and some friendly conversation by the campfire, you all decide to sleep. But you take the first watch. It's a night in which nothing happens, and the next morning the traders set off early. After breakfast, you also continue on your journey. After a march through the thick pine forest, Blacksaddle, the sinister tabletop mountain, and your journey's destination rises up before you.
Прям сказку какую-то рассказывают. Не видно ж ничего.
Are you sure that the Famulus lives here?
Yes, according to Lot Yonan.
Although you try to put a lot of assurance into your voice, you too see no signs that anyone lives here.
No castle, no tunnel, no camp. There's nothing here but mountain.
Then we'll have to take a closer look.
You do that, scholar. We'll be waiting for you here.
You think about objecting, but it would just be a waste of breath.
Таки, ну, за работу.
Even the dark evergreen forest seems to be afraid of the Black Mountain.
Found anything? A hidden camp? A secret doorway? Gold?
No. Not yet.
Ага, так, туда мне не надо.
No trace of Guren here either. If he's close, then there must be some kind of cave somewhere in the mountain. I can only climb a little way here. There must be a better way. An old tree. Looks like it could fall down at any moment.
Куда я иду? А, повернулся. Побредил.
There we go. Too steep. I can't get a grip anywhere. I should be able to get up here. Oh, phew. That was close. I hope this is all worth it.
Надейся. Точно надо надеяться. Так, смотрим. Да.
Here's a... No, forget it. Definitely a rock face. There's something engraved on it.
You realize with surprise that they are runes in the Dwarven language.
Built with the blood of our enemies, be unyielding as the rock, and soak the land in their blood. Huh? Hello? Master Garen? Lot Yonan sent me to bring some items back to you. My inquiries are almost at an end. That means I can finally go to be with my sunshine. I have never been to Greenglade, but I think I will like it there. I deposited my most valuable things in the grave of Horengarth before my departure and secured it with magic. The password is...
You recognize the following words as rune names, but they're written in the learned language, so you don't know which they are.
Greenglade. Oh, great.
Useful. An eternal flame. I know who taught him that.
You see sketches and notes on the architectural features, statues and wall reliefs. It seems Garen spent a lot of time studying this place.
Maybe he's kind of a dwarf historian, or maybe he's just a treasure hunter. Hello? Is anyone there?
It looks as though Garen lived in the fortress for a while. It also seems that he left several lunar orbits ago.
Stealing, it would just be a shame if the provisions went off.
Ну да, вот именно. Всего нету. Мало ли. Не вернется, еда пропадет. Уже взять. Шаром.
A series of weapons that are all clearly of dwarven origin. The spider webs and rust suggest they have been here for quite a while. Maybe even centuries.
Так, там еще ступеньки есть, нет?
Born of stone, forged in battle. Arise, reborn from the blood of the enemy.
You're not sure if you really want to know what was once in this basin. The whole place gives you the feeling that a decent dwarf shouldn't hang around too long.
A rune. Clearly magical.
Явно надо в нужном порядке зажечь.
Sarcophagus. Perhaps I could open it.
Ой.
Thirdlings, the fortress belongs to the dwarf haters. Norimber's dwarves are not only as unyielding as a mountain, they are also as destructive as an avalanche, and would batter into lesser kingdoms just as relentlessly. The Four should find no salvation in Vrachus, only eternal damnation, so that they suffer indescribable torment between the worlds.
You have heard of the dwarf haters, but this is the first time you have read their hateful words. You feel sick and turn away.
Ужас.
It would seem that even the Thirdlings worship Vrachus, but in all the other kingdoms his shrine would be the biggest, not the statue of the kingdom's progenitor. A couple of gold coins are in the bowl in front of the shrine.
Но мне кажется, забрать не лучший вариант.
Can't do any harm. Lorimber, the progenitor of the Thirdlings.
In most of the chronicles about the 5 dwarfen kingdoms, only very little is written about the Thirdlings, and what is written is full of disgust. They are called traitors, or worse.
С этой стороны совершить нельзя. Угу. Так, сейчас комбинацию подберу. Там, блин, не туда слишком почти. 4 символа, в принципе, перебрать несложно. координация группы.
Ah, that's it. Goren's most valuable belongings. Letters from his lover, a silk scarf that must have belonged to her, and a medallion.
Никто ничего не видел.
Graves. Could be buried here.
Так, ну что, здесь вроде бы все.
So, Scholar, what are the results of your inquiries?
There is an abandoned fortress in the mountain, and I think it belonged to the Thirdlings.
Boindale's eyes narrow.
The blasted dwarf killers!
A Thirdling fortress? Here? In the middle of Girdlegard? We must let High King Gundrabur know about this.
The fortress has been long abandoned by the looks of it. Anyway, I can't go to Ogre's death until I have completed my quest. Goren is in Greenglade.
Huh.
A Thirdling fortress? Here, in the heart of Girdlegard. That's strange, isn't it?
And worrying. But they've always been wily. They move in the shadows and kill there too if they can. Do you know their story?
I've read about it. Lorenberg, their progenitor, rejected the name that Vrakas gave him, who in turn did not give him any special talents, so his kingdom studied war.
It helps them defending the East, but it also meant they ended up confronting the other kingdoms. No dwarf would ever even think of injuring one of his kind, never mind killing them. But the dwarf killers are proud of it. When they were even more powerful, they wanted to become the rulers of all dwarves. They are envious of our skills. They haven't been heard of for a long time, but you can be sure there isn't a single dwarf alive who doesn't hate them. All right then. It's about the choice of the new High King. Gandagar, the king of the Fourthlings, is with his entourage in Ogre's death and is supposed to ascend the throne.
But our acting High King Gundrabur wants to prevent that from happening. He fears that Gandagar wishes to instigate a war against the elves.
But what have I got to do with that?
Boindale is about to say something, but is silenced by a nudge in the side from his brother.
High King Gundrabur will explain everything when the time comes.
You look distrustfully from one twin to the other. Boindale has donned an innocent expression, and Boendal doesn't give you the impression that he has anything else to say on the matter.
What does this King Gandagar have against the elves?
Dwarves and elves just don't get along. Vrakas and Satalia made us that way.
I know that, but going to war for just that, after all this time?
Well, there must be more behind it. They say that the king of the Fourthlings is full of hatred and is a hothead in this matter.
Whatever, your High King must wait. I have a quest to carry out in Greenglade.
But our quest is...
Boindil raises a placatory hand and throws his rucksack onto his back in preparation.
Let it be, dear brother. Look at him. He has made his decision, and you will not be able to change his stubborn dwarven mind.
You can't help but smile.
Так, отношения-то улучшились, это хорошо. Вот куда-то идти надо. Сюда-то идти. Да, может, конечно, нормально. Так. Здесь орки. Пойти через ним
You approach
подраться.
Scalebrook through its expansive fields and spot smoke rising up into the sky. A short while later, you can hear the cries of battle, and finally you can smell the tallow on the orc's armor. Scalebrook is at war.
Поехали, подеремся. На самом деле еще минут 10-15 посидим-то. Пора будет сворачиваться. Спать уже хочу. Так.
Quick, we have to help those people.
Yeah! Yeah! And what now? Yes? What is it? Another one bites the dust. And what
Find somewhere
now?
safe to hide. We'll come back for you once we've saved the other villagers.
On my way!
Так, валите все сюда.
And again.
Yes?
Who's next? Huh? I didn't hit you very hard. Ha ha!
Орки убили слишком много жителей. Ох, мать, тут еще прям за этим следить надо. Серьезно.
Huh? Please wait a moment. Vile creature.
He hardly put up a too easy.
Fine.
А, ну да, я понял. Спеши танкуй, убивай, грабь насилуй, да.
Vile creature. Vile creature.
And again, who's next? I didn't hit you very hard. As good as done.
Опять? Или мы умудрились таки спасти?
That's it. They're fleeing.
А, не, нормально.
I don't think so. They're just rallying.
And that's what we should do too. Come on.
Ага, еще.
Thank you so much.
You saved us.
Not yet. The orcs are rallying. You must join us.
But we can't.
You must. Here they come.
Сейчас мы вас перережем. Friendly Fire, а так все нормально.
Put up a fight!
Kill!
He already put up a fight!
And again!
Who's next? Too easy! Huh? And what now? Pow! Another one bites the dust!
Kill!
Yeah! And again! What is it? Who's next? Of course! I didn't hit you very hard!
Такие только руки полетели. Как это, да? И только писюны по стенам.
On my way!
Втроем они.
Another one!
Просто да, много разговоров. Мяч запинали, да?
You and Boandal are already helping search for survivors. Various villagers, all with shocked, ashen faces, come and thank you for saving them. A middle-aged man nervously steps from one foot to the other and tries to force a smile.
My father, the village elder, he is dead. I think I must follow in his footsteps, so I thank you in the name of Scalebrook. He left behind some gold as a dowry for my sister. She's...
The man bows his head, produces a leather pouch, and kneads it with trembling hands.
If only you'd come earlier.
But before you can reply, the man takes a deep breath and forces himself to look at you.
What am I saying? How ungrateful. Thanks to you, many of us are still alive. My daughter may be able to marry one day, thanks to your bravery.
The man hesitates briefly, then thrusts the leather pouch towards you.
We won't accept your gold. Bury your dead, rebuild your village, be a good father to your daughter.
Boandal looks at you,
and
you think you can see an approving nod. The man opens his mouth to say something, but then he just shakes his head and finally starts again.
I thank you, dear sir, but there is no way I can let you go with empty hands. Here, take this. My father bought it from a trader, one of your kind.
Так, левелапчик, это хорошо. Золотишко тоже дали, это хорошо. У этого было на 15, у этого 20 отношения к моему герою. Почему? Так, ну там, короче, понятно. Там нет тех не спасал. С ними. Видите, что будет. Так, мне вообще туда пошли. Что? У нас еда может скоро закончиться.
Boindale rummages around in his rucksack and pulls out a cheese wrapped in a cloth. He sticks a fist-sized piece on a spit and grills it on the fire.
There's nothing better than grilled cheese at the end of a long day.
The smell it gives off makes you hold your breath.
Oh,
Oh, it smells like my socks after weeks of marching in my boots.
Oh, picky, are you? Hardly surprising, considering you were brought up by humans. It's ruined your taste.
Boindil holds the stinky cheese at the end of the stick under your nose.
Eat, and stop complaining.
You pull the warm piece of cheese from the stick. It tastes dreadful. Your fingers will smell of it for the next few days, and probably your mouth will too.
Веселая история. Послушать не хотите ли? Да, там в норке ходит, все разносят, но пусть вам сами бывает.
While taking a rest, you see a cart trundling along the road not far away from you. A young couple are sitting on the box seat, clearly in love and more interested in each other than the rest of the world around them. The sight reminds you of a long, unanswered question.
So, I was wondering, what do female dwarfs look like?
Pretty. Very pretty.
Uh-huh.
You were expecting a little more information.
Do they have beards?
No, I would say it's more like fluff. Oh, very attractive.
And what do they do? I mean, are they warriors too?
In our kingdom, most take care of domestic life. They take the animals down to the meadows in the valleys, make sure the larders are full and that there's plenty of good beer, and make our clothes.
It only ever causes problems when men and women stand shoulder to shoulder in battle.
Some of them are talented stonemasons and smiths, and beware of insulting their skills. They are no less proud than we are.
Вот и ответ про кроме женщин. Так, нам прям туда. Хотя, наверное, через поселки будем идти. А, это торговец. С ним его ловить не будем. Хотя, может, и стоило бы. Там, в смысле, ты слишком много. Взял меня, обошел, серьезно, да? Нет. Потому что еда. Скоро с голоду
The
начну
closer you
подыхать.
get to Parista, the livelier the streets become. Many of the large buildings in the city are even taller than the high city wall. But one building towers above them all, the palace. Its dome gleams white in the sun. It is the seat of the Council of Magi, and its central tower, which juts high into the sky, serves as a waypoint for travelers as far as 50 miles away. You reach the Council's palace, but are stopped in front of its gates by a guard.
The Council of Magi is convened to take care of the perished land. They mustn't be disturbed.
The perished land? You mean the barrier? Is there something wrong with it?
The guard shrugs his shoulders.
Won't be anything the Council can't sort out.
Может, еды взять где-то, ну?
The hamlet of Sungird certainly lives up to its name. You arrive as the sun sets behind the tower of a Palandial temple, lighting up its stained glass. There's a shop in the village, and through the window, as well as some everyday objects and food, you also spy a shelf full of books. A small bell rings as you enter the shop. The twins look around, but seem rather disinterested, until they discover a couple of gemstones on display. On the wall to your left is the bookshelf you saw through the window. It's quite unusual for a village shop to sell books.
Так. Купаю все. Так, хорошо.
You stroll towards the bookshelf and read some of the titles written on the spines of the books. You know many of the works from Lot Yonan's library.
Oh, by fracas, look, dear brother! The scholar really is looking at books!
It's an interesting selection, Boindil. I could make some recommendations for you.
Boindil throws his arm around your shoulder and pulls you slowly away from the bookshelf.
What if someone sees you? Here, this is more our kind of thing.
You follow him reluctantly and are shown the selection of gemstones. Boindil is walking next to you in silence. Now and then, he looks at you from the side.
And you really do like books?
Yeah, I'm curious. And you can find many answers in books.
Won't you have found all the answers at some point?
Quite the contrary. The more books you read, the more questions you ask.
Ah, I knew it. All just a waste of time.
You approach the village and can tell even from far off that something isn't right. The smell of burnt wood and death is in the air.
Right, Rufus.
The piggies have really shown those pointy ears. We couldn't have done it any better.
Stay alert. I want to find out what happened to Goren.
The elf maiden's graceful snow-white face still radiates beauty, in terrible contrast to the rest of her appearance. From the neck down, she is nothing more than a blood-red, damp and glistening skeleton. There are long nails sticking through her thin bones, and where her beautiful eyes once were, are now gaping black holes.
Да, стрёмненько, конечно. Так. Я вижу следы, но что потом. Может, иду обратно.
Hoofprints! Burned into the ground!
Alfar?
The fire in Boindil's eyes flares up with delight.
Huzzah! That would make a change from those stupid peggies. Did you hear that, brother? We might get to test our blades on Tion's pointy ears.
Может, не надо. Может, помрем.
Green Glade was one of the few places in Girdlegard where humans and elves live together. You don't see any elven features among all the faces contorted with pain and fear. You look away. You have read about the elves and their buildings. This here had always just been a small example of their architectural skill, which achieved perfection in Alandur. Now burning and ruined, the pavilion makes an even sadder impression.
The Magus had these books on him when he was attacked. Was he trying to bring them to safety?
Your eyes fall upon a sealed letter next to the books. The circumstances seem grave enough for you to break the seal.
Greetings, Tugger. I am glad to hear that you finally wish to confide in Lot Yonan. I have found out something new about the demon. It's all written in these books. I think they are the key to his destruction, or I hope so, at least. Yours faithfully, Goren. What demon are they talking about?
You instinctively think about how the magical barrier is only a few days' march north of here, and beyond it, Varakas only knows what kind of creatures live in the Perish Land.
I knew I smelled the stench of groundlings.
Huzzah! This will be fun! We finally get to fight!
I hope your blood doesn't clot too much. It has to be nice and fluid for my fine brushstrokes.
Ha! How do you plan to defeat us, pointy ears? There are 3 of us.
Oh, only 3. That makes it easier.
She looks over the corpses.
Otharin lueth buanre.
But what's happening?
That's the perished land.
Impossible. Greenglade is south of the barrier.
I know of nothing else that can resurrect the dead. Knock their heads off or they'll keep coming back.
Ну, как надо, чё?
On my way.
Huh?
What is it? Yes, yes!
Uh-huh.
What is it?
Huh?
Yes?
And what now?
Too easy! Huh?
Huh? Vile creature. Huh?
Yes?
Killed.
Who's next? And what now?
Huh? At once.
Oh, he didn't hit you very hard! Huh?
What is it? Put up a fight!
Huh?
And what now?
I need help over here! Quick, or the one bites the dust!
Huh?
Yes?
Yes.
Oh, he didn't hit you very hard!
Hitting me pretty hard.
Too easy!
What is it?
Huh?
Huh? Uh-huh.
What is it?
What is it?
Huh?
Так, тебя зачем?
Who's next?
Damn it! How many more of them are there?
And what now?
Uh-huh.
У них благо хоть какой-то датхил есть.
What is
Вообще,
it?
я
Yes.
вообще бы скончался. Все-таки правильно я сделал, что выбрал
And what now?
этот широкий такой этот.
Find him! Or you doing your axes over here?
I'm not that quick.
I didn't hit you very
Yes,
hard.
so. I'm not that quick.
Yes?
Huh? What is it?
Vile creature. Too easy.
I have Boroda. Give me a hand. Yes, yes, so. I'm not that quick. Yes, yes, so. I'm not that quick.
Huh?
Can he put up a fight?
Don't rush me.
Yes. Huh?
Ох, нажимать как же жестко там.
I didn't hit you very hard. Ow! Another one bites the dust.
Yes, yes, so. I'm not that quick. Yes, yes, so.
What is it?
Huh? What is it?
Damn it! How many more of them are there?
I need help over here, quickly.
Find it! Your axes over here! Damn it! How many more of them are there?
Give me a hand. Yes, yes.
Very hard! Find it! What you do with your axes over here?
Да ты...
A little rest.
Какого ж хрена ты просто решил откинуться, ну... Тяжело ему управлять, когда он от берсерка уходит. Ты ему руководить не можешь.
Huh?
Huh?
And what now?
Yes?
Так.
I can't do that yet. Kill. What is it?
Huh?
Please wait a moment. I can't do that yet.
Too easy!
And again. Vile creature.
Very hard!
Ты, господи, да странно, что лошадь.
I need help over here. Wait a moment. They're hitting me pretty hard. Huh?
Yes? Huh? I didn't hit you very hard! Ow! Another one bites the dust! Too easy!
Так, ну те вроде сами там разбираются.
I didn't hit you very hard!
И главное повалить на землю, а дальше.
And again. Vile creature.
Another one bites the dust!
Можете дальше подумать.
I didn't hit
Проще.
you very hard! Who's next?
Kill.
Please wait a moment. I can't do that yet. I need help over here.
Так, спавную лошадь отпинаем, пожалуйста.
Ow! Hey!
Так, минус лошадь.
And what now?
Сваливайте оттуда, ну. Так, еще 3 нежити осталось.
I'm not that quick. What is it?
Yeah. Vile creature. Yeah. Killed.
Так, еще где-то живой точно остался. Где ж ты?
Yeah. And again.
Есть.
Dwarves, you protected the glade. The perished land. The barrier has fallen.
You can feel your stomach cramping. Unlike Boindale, you can't say a word.
The damn mage I only had one job!
So this is what it is like to rise from the dead. I feel nothing. I am left with nothing. My love, my beauty, my home, and my forest. Everything has been taken from me. I beg you, have mercy and put an end to my suffering.
Without even being able to look into her eyes, you recognize the sadness in the elf maiden's expression. The dignity that she must once have radiated can only be imagined in her current state.
Garen was here, and I've heard that you elves have special abilities in battle. Did the Alpha take you by surprise in your sleep?
I felt her presence, but when I confronted the elf, she had already killed the first of us and resurrected the perished land. It fills humans and dwarves with a hatred for life. It turns you into beasts. They charge through the village like a fury, and everyone that they killed became one of theirs.
If the perished land spreads further south, then Nodon won't need any orcs, ogres, or Alfar. One human losing their life in the perished land would be enough for the madness to sweep through the land like the plague.
Your stomach turns, but you know that it's right. You've never seen the twins looking so serious. They would pit themselves against any army of orcs, but this is something beyond their power. And yours.
We need the Magi. They must rebuild the barrier. We must go to Lot-Yonan before the Perish Land spreads further. He will know what is to be done.
Neither of your companions objects.
I can't believe it. The barrier has fallen. How could that happen?
Who could tell? Anything could go wrong with all that hocus pocus.
It had held back the Perish Land since the fall of the Fifthlings. Reinforcing the barrier whenever it loses power is the primary duty of the Great Magi. I can't imagine how Nodon or anyone else could have broken through it.
You think of the demons mentioned in Garen's letter. You wonder whether it could be possible that a demon from the Outer Lands might possess powers so great that even the 6 Magi weren't ready for it.
Ну, на лапчики пошли. О, 4-й вариант. Прыжок или рывок. Хотя, наверное, давайте рывок. Парень с прыжком у нас уже есть. Кольцо с надписью внутри. Ну. Так, снова. Ладно, на самом деле, наверное, мы на этом сейчас уже и закончим. Тут в следующий раз продолжим. Что громадная карта-то, по сути. Явно чуть ли не во всех углах была. Это уже ладно, потом. Просто можно будет идти зайти в деревню. Пути. По одну другую. Города. Еще и доп это оказывается. Ну, к югу тут нету, остался разве что вот этот отряд. Посмотрим, что будет заскочить. Так. Ну, пока. На это на сегодня и хватит с нас. Как обычно, всем, кто там даже. Спасибо за просмотр. Увидимся, когда увидимся. В общем, всем хороших суток. Всем пока-пока.
Emptiness, a lonely parody, and my life another smoking gun, a sign of my indifference. Always keeping safe inside when no one ever had a chance to penetrate a break-in. Let me tell you, some have tried, but I slammed the door so tight that they could never get in. Kept my cool on the lock and key, and I never shed a tear, and now the sign of my condition. The fear of love, a bit of vanity, it kept me on the run, the main events of my confession. I kept a chain upon my door that would shake the shame of gain into a blind submission. The burning ghost without a name was still calling all the same, but I just wouldn't listen. The longer I stall, the further I crawl, the further I crawl, the harder I fall, was crawling into the fire. The more that I saw, the further I fall, the further I fall, the lower I crawl, I kept falling into the fire. Into the fire. Into the fire. Suddenly it occurred to me the reason for the ride and hide of all of my existence. Everything left on the other side could never be much worse than this, but could I go the distance? I pressed the door and all my shame, tearing off each piece of chain until they were broken. But no matter how I tried, the other side was locked so tight, the door it wouldn't open. Giving all I got, started to laugh. They shouted for someone to open and lock that scatter and get through the door. The more that I know, the harder I get, the harder I get, the harder I know to just go break through the door. Yeah, yeah. Break down the door.